Lena stepped off the train, the steam from the engine billowing around her. She gazed up at the towering buildings that surrounded the train station, their ornate facades and wrought iron balconies a testament to a bygone era. She had come to this forgotten city on a mission, determined to uncover its secrets. As she walked through the winding streets, Lena couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The city was eerily quiet, the only sounds the clack of her heels on the cobblestones and the distant caw of a lone crow. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Lena had always been drawn to the mysterious, the unexplained. Her career as a journalist had taken her to some of the most remote corners of the world, but this city held a fascination for her like no other. She had heard rumors of hidden tunnels and secret societies, of a long-forgotten past that had been deliberately erased from history. As she turned a corner, Lena caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of her eye. She spun around, but there was no one there. She shook her head, chiding herself for letting her imagination get the better of her. But the feeling of being watched lingered. It wasn't until Lena stumbled upon a crumbling old building that she knew she was getting closer to the truth. The door was locked, but a quick jiggling of the handle revealed that it wasn't quite secure. She pushed it open and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and Lena coughed as she made her way through the abandoned building. The floorboards creaked beneath her feet, and she half expected the whole place to come crashing down around her. As she climbed a rickety staircase, Lena heard the sound of footsteps coming from above. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. But then the footsteps stopped, and there was silence once again. Lena pushed open a door at the top of the stairs and stepped out onto a balcony. From here, she could see out over the entire city, the buildings stretching out before her like a patchwork quilt. But something was different. It took Lena a moment to realize what it was. There were no people. No cars, no pedestrians, no signs of life whatsoever. A rustling noise caught her attention, and Lena turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows. It was a man, dressed in a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat pulled low over his eyes. "What are you doing here?" he demanded, his voice low and dangerous. "I'm just looking around," Lena stuttered, taking a step back. "You shouldn't be here," the man growled, taking a menacing step towards her. But then there was a sound, a distant rumble that grew louder and louder until it was almost deafening. Lena turned towards the noise, and her eyes widened in horror as she saw what was approaching. A wall of water, at least 20 feet high, was hurtling towards the city. Lena and the man exchanged a look, and then they were both running, their feet pounding on the wooden planks of the balcony. They made their way down the stairs as fast as they could, the water closing in on them with terrifying speed. Just as Lena thought they were going to be swept away, the man grabbed her hand and pulled her towards a hidden door in the wall. They stumbled through the narrow passage, the water pounding against the walls around them. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the water was gone. Lena and the man emerged from the tunnel and found themselves in a small courtyard. The man released Lena's hand and turned to face her. "You need to leave," he said, his voice still rough with warning. "This city is not safe." "But what was that?" Lena asked, still in shock from the wall of water that had nearly swept them away. "It's a long story," the man replied cryptically. "But suffice it to say, there are forces at work here that are beyond your understanding. You need to go, now." Lena hesitated for a moment, torn between her curiosity and her instinct for self-preservation. But then she heard the sound of sirens in the distance, and she knew she had to leave. She turned and ran, her feet pounding on the pavement as she made her way back towards the train station. As she looked back over her shoulder, she could see the man watching her from the shadows. Lena never did uncover the secrets of that forgotten city, but the memory of the wall of water stayed with her for years to come. And every time she heard of a natural disaster on the news, she couldn't help but wonder if there was something more to it, something mysterious and unexplainable, lurking just beyond the edge of human understanding.